prepared to carry it. And so you have to decide that in advance at what point you're going to pull that driver's license out or whatever and give it to them. You know, we all have to know how far we're going to do it and what you're going to do. I can be there after the fact. I can help you prepare paperwork, but I cannot be there when the time comes when you're on the street and the cops got you stopped. If you have done your homework, then they should decide to move on, even if you do produce government-issued ID. I know lots of people that do produce government-issued ID, and they pull it up in the computer, and then they decide, well, maybe we'll just leave this guy alone. And it's like my truck, okay? I've administrated them, and so they pull up my license plate in the computer, and I guess the computer says, leave this guy alone, okay? And so I theoretically probably could pull up a driver's license, and they probably still, you know, decide to go and mess with somebody else. But I tell them I don't have one, and I have no intention of ever producing one, and I've got statutes and stuff that say that I don't have to. You have to pick your battles. Sometimes it's better to come back and fight another day. You know, everybody's got to decide, you know, how far you're going to carry it and where you're going to go. As far as fingerprints are concerned, I do not consent. I tell them, if they tell them they're going to do fingerprints, I tell them, well, you got the guns. If you want to cut off these fingers and take some prints, I suppose I can't stop you. But other than that, you're not getting my fingerprints. You know, I do not consent to your unlawful search. When you're telling them you're going to search your body, no, you're not. I do not consent. You have the gun, so you can do whatever you want, but if you're going to violate your rights, then you need to be able to be prepared to go all the way and take me over there and blow my brains out, because by the time I'm done with you, you'll wish you did, and I'll do it all within the law. And what's your name for the criminal complaint I'm going to file?
Badge number if they got it.
Yeah. As far as your house is concerned, okay, and this is talking about your house, okay? I don't know, have you ever watched Law and Order? Has anybody ever watched Law and Order on TV? That's actually a pretty good program. Although the old version, I don't like this Law and Order criminal intent that they have nowadays. But you would see them. It's interesting because you see the backroom dealings that go on and the wheeling, dealing, and all that. Anyways, the police will come to your door and they'll try it. And if it's not locked, they'll walk into your house and you let them in. Okay, that's exactly what will happen. And so what I say is you should always have your door locked, even when you're home. And I always have my door locked, even when I'm home. And if the police come to the door, I don't answer the door. Okay, they are not your friends. Okay, there's a YouTube video on YouTube, and you ought to do a search for it. Do not talk to the police. Okay, do a search for do not talk to the police at YouTube, and there's a law professor that gets on there and tells you why you should not talk to the police. And so do not talk to the police. They're not your friends. And let them go ahead. If they're wanting to talk to you, then 9 times out of 10 they're wanting to build a case against you. And if they come to my door, then if they have a real warrant, okay, they'll break the door down. And if they don't have a real warrant, then they'll go away. Either way, I don't want to talk to them. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to understand that and what's going on, and that's what I would, my recommendation is, do not open the door. If you open the door, then they'll push the door open and you let them in, okay? And then once they're in, then they can, who knows what they're going to find. You see what I'm saying? And so again, you know, you have to. I don't unlock the door. I don't open them up. When the U.S. Marshal or the federal FBI and the Texas Department of Public Safety came to see me, they want to talk to me. So I opened the door. I didn't know who was where. They were both plain clothes, but I didn't even look actually. But as soon as I opened the door, I saw them, and they asked me, "Can we talk to you for a few minutes?" And I said, "Sure." And so I went outside and I closed the door. Okay, and I went outside and talked to them. And there's, you know, if you want to talk to them, then you can do that, okay? But you're not letting them in your house. You see what I'm saying?
They force their way in. If you was to shoot them at that point, what would happen?
Well, you know, yeah. Especially with all these.
I answered my front door with a pistol in my hand.
Yeah. Well, it's like you know, in Texas, right? and this little old lady that Rice McLeod talks about, and they dial 911. Somebody dials 911, and the police go to this little old lady's house, and the little old lady says, the police say, "Open up, let us in. Somebody here dialed 911." The little old lady says, "Nobody here dialed 911." And the police say, "Open up, let us in." And the little old lady says, "Nobody here dialed 911." And the police say, "Open us up, let us in. Somebody here dialed 911." And the little old lady says, "We're in Texas, I have a gun, and nobody here dialed 911. And so the point is that in Texas you might get away with it. It's hard to say. If they died inside your house, then you probably would. You know what I mean? A lot of it depends on a lot of things. I quite frankly, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't even bring my guns out. My guns aren't even loaded, quite frankly. They're there, but the magazine's not in them, and the magazine doesn't even have any rounds in it. So it'd take me a few minutes to get it loaded.
I'm opposite. Mine are all loaded. There's one in the chamber. The safety's not on. I pick it up, pull the trigger, it goes boom.
Yeah. Well, so each to his own. But I don't. I have one, but that's the situation. Anyways, if they do get you, then demand to see a judge now. Okay, even in the Texas statutes, it says they have to take you before a judge immediately. And so I demand to see a judge. Get his butt out of bed. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And get names of everybody and write them down. And if you have to file a lawsuit, it's like throwing mud against a wall. You never know what's going to stick. Really, that's what any lawsuit is. You get names. Get as many names as you can. Do you know who you are? I never sign anything. So, quite frankly, they want me to sign a recognizance bond. I ain't signing nothing. Get a judge down here now. Get his butt out of bed. That's exactly where I'd be going. And if they tell you that you're going to stay in jail till you sign it, then tell them you want to see a judge. Okay? It's a contract. Guaranteed it's a contract. That's why they want you to sign. Next thing you do is you file a claim with their risk management department, and this is one thing that we're working on with Chief Judge Sewell in Azle. As soon as he gets a certified copy of those judgments, then you just call up the city, or you go down to City Hall and tell them, "I want to talk to your risk management department." They all have one, and that's their insurance. And you go down there and you say, who's the name? What's your insurance company? And do you have a policy? Just be real nice. A lot of times they'll help you out with that stuff. But at the end of the day, find out who it is and serve them copies. We're going to serve them copies of those judgments, and we'll see what happens. I guarantee you that no matter what happens, at a minimum, those lawyers are going to be, their insurance is going to go up. Azle's insurance is going to go through the roof, okay? Because that insurance company has lawyers, and those lawyers know the liability they're being exposed to, and their job is to protect that insurance company. So I guarantee you they're going to be rattling Azle's cage. They probably already have. And they'll be rattling it some more. And at a minimum, at an absolute minimum, and if they don't cancel the insurance. And anyways, you might get some compensation too, There's my group. It's Administrating Your Public Servants at gogroups.com. If you want access to the files of the posts, you need to join the group. You can use a nickname. You can make up a date. You can do all sorts of things. I've set up profiles for my brother. My brother is real super paranoid, so I went and he wouldn't set a profile up, but he let me do it. So I went ahead and did it, and I set it up for Clem Cadiddle-Hopper and some fictitious date of birth and all that stuff. And so then I just told him the password, and he goes and logs in, and I sent him an email there. But anyways, so you don't have to use personal information. It's probably a good idea not to. Only group members can invite other group members to join. So if you know somebody that wants to join, then send them an invitation. The first few posts that I have on the group are links to some documents that I've uploaded to Google Documents, and so go there and see those documents. There's criminal complaints and all sorts of stuff. I'm available to help with document preparation online by email. There are other people in the group who can help, but you need to be aware that a lot of people on the group mean well, and they may be trying to help, but they may not be helping at all. So I plan on letting people on the group go over what they want with the discussions within some limits. Robin Boulanger is a Christian minister, and he was really getting, overly into Christianity and basically Bible thumping, and I told him to chill a little bit, and then it got even worse. So I kicked him off the group. But I didn't. He was essentially, in my opinion, trying to take over the group, and so I don't have a problem. People, I mean, it's Christianity. It's good versus evil. This whole thing that's going on right now it's what's talked about in Revelations, and it's good versus evil. But there's a lot of people on that group that may or may not be Christians, and so it's okay to bring up a little bit of it. I don't have a problem, talking about it a little bit, but we need to keep it fairly neutral. That's all. And I mean, the people do talk about Christianity on there, and I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it is this what's talked about in Revelations that's happening right now, in my opinion. And but sometimes you need to give it a rest too. You know what I mean? And so, anyways.
All right, to be a Christian, but don't thump the Bible.
Well, so anyways, I plan on letting people go wherever they need to go in the group, with few limitations, but some. At some point, I'll make a couple of members group managers. I'd like to make somebody a manager and let them have more control, because especially with me being overseas, it's I'll be on there but I'm just probably not going to have as much time as I'd like to keep track of all the emails and stuff. Anyways. You do not have to be in poverty to be a sovereign, okay? This Robin Boulanger is like dirt poor. I mean, he basically lives off of donations. I don't think he works. And so there's a lot of people in Canada that don't want to have anything to do with sovereignty, because they think you have to be broke. You know what I mean? And that's just not true. There's a lot of sovereigns that are very wealthy. I mean, I heard about a trust that was I think I was telling Al about it. I heard about a trust that was signed by William Penn, okay, that was still in operation today, okay, and so the point is that you don't have to be in poverty. You can be. There's people that are very wealthy, that are sovereigns. Anybody can be a sovereign, and everybody's got to start somewhere, and you basically pass it on in the family and teach your kids about it, and that's how it works. And that's how do you think all those families over in Europe, these aristocracy, or the so-called aristocracy, they got to be that? It's because they understood it and they took advantage of it. That's it, really. And so then they wound up being the lords and all the rest of it. You see what I'm saying? Not that I want to be a lord. I mean, I just want to be a sovereign. Just leave me alone, But that's where, that's obviously an extreme over in Europe and stuff like that. You have to know, there are lots of sovereigns who are very wealthy. You have to know the law and how it works. You have to stay out of what they view to be contracts. The driver's license is not a contract, but when you pull it out and give it to them, then that is the contract, okay? That's when you tell them that you want to be this fictitious entity. At common law, the wife and minor children are the property of the husband. At common law, all births are recorded in the family Bible, okay? Where's that family Bible? Okay, yeah, there it is. And having babies in the hospital is almost a guaranteed birth registration. Having babies at home is, and when possible, there are midwives who are competent to assist. 2 of my kids were born at home, and my wife, is that right? All right, excellent. And so my wife, wouldn't do it any other way. Although the last one was born in a hospital, but she was like 45. And you get older, it's harder, and she was, concerned about things. And my attitude is that's not my department. Okay, I have no idea what a woman goes through when it comes to that, and so that's completely her call, whether she wants to do it in a hospital or at home or wherever. How many she wants to have, I mean, all of that's not my department, so whatever she decides, I'll support her, and so but the bottom line is that when you're having them in the hospital, the issue of birth registration is a concern. Social Security numbers are not mandatory. Do not get Social Security numbers. If your straw man has a Social Security number,